It is not Flock's job to police the police.
Flock Safety is responding to allegations from the Illinois Secretary of State that the company failed to have the proper data safeguards in place and should be held accountable after its surveillance system allowed access to license plate data that could be used in immigration or abortion-related investigations in violation of state law.
The reality is that we are dealing with powerful surveillance technology, and it has been abused, which is extremely troubling, especially as it violates the law. Moving forward, we encourage local law enforcement to closely examine their relationship with Flock.
So how does the company respond to these claims? We spoke with Joshua Thomas, Flock's chief communications officer, to hear their explanation and what they say really happened behind the scenes.
Obviously, he's placing some of the onus on your company. Where does that come from?
Our legal team is looking into these Illinois laws, and it's pretty unclear how they'd be applied to Flock. It's pretty unclear to me, as no one has brought any charges that we have violated the law. In fact, nobody's even officially told us that we're under investigation. We were talking with the Illinois Secretary of State's office as recently as yesterday morning before they put out their statement. And this is over the course of many, many weeks where we've been in touch with them on many Zoom calls. And so I would just say that, it's unclear what the next step was with that. That being said, we completely disagree with the interpretation that we have violated any laws in Illinois. Every time you use Flock Safety, you have to put in a reason why you're using Flock. And in fact, if you don't put a reason in, you can't just get search results. You have to put that in. And so what we did is that as the search terms, we're blocking the ones that are impermissible under Illinois law. So you cannot get those sort of results. And if anybody was seen to be in violation of those, we removed them from being able to access Illinois data. This was all in June that we did all this. We've been actively working with our product engineering team to build AI search filters to basically go the extra step to say, outside of just what we can code into the system, can we use LLMs or modern AI tools to say, let's do a better job of identifying terms that might be in violation of the law, and let's just stop those searches from happening. Our goal at the end of the day is to help stop crime, and do that in a way that helps our customers stay in compliance with the law.
Was there a situation where people were going past those safeguards that you guys had put in there?
So it wasn't actually that people were going against those safeguards. What I would say is the reason this all came to the attention of the Illinois Secretary of State's office at all is because there was some real misinformation that was being spread by some news outlets, unfortunately. There was a woman in Texas who self-administered an abortion, and her family called their local sheriff in Texas and said, she's a missing person because she ran away. Go try to find her. So they tried to cast the widest net possible and used Flock to try to see anywhere in the nation, where did she run to? She was luckily found a couple days later in Dallas, and she was safe and she's healthy. And it was a case that the first reports of this that came out from the media were, this is a Texas sheriff trying to prosecute a woman for abortion. There were no charges that were ever filed. Nothing criminal was ever brought to the attention of her or her family. This was purely a missing person case. And unfortunately, because of that, this rose to the attention of the Illinois Secretary of State's office because they thought somebody had been searching Illinois cameras for abortion enforcement, which is just not what happened. So this is what brought all of this to our attention, Nikki, back in June was, okay, let's go try and ensure that this doesn't happen. And from my understanding across the Flock Safety ecosystem, I'm only aware of that one time the term abortion ever even being searched within Flock. And it was to help find a person who was missing and potentially, in danger after self-administering that procedure. We're doing everything we can to help our customers stay in compliance with these local laws, because at the end of the day, our customers own the data, not Flock. They decide with whom they want to share, not Flock. And it is not Flock's job to police the police.
I read the blog post yesterday too that your CEO wrote, and I noticed that kind of the features that were mentioned as far as creating new federal agency profiles and making it really clear who they are for the people that are using cameras. Can you kind of explain to me how that differs from what was happening in the past?
Previously, the name would have said U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and now it'll say U.S. Customs and Border Protection. This is a federal agency. Check your local state statutes to ensure compliance with your laws before accepting this share request. So we will go from the name to being more explicit and trying to help our customers understand who they're potentially accepting a share request from.
Is it possible that some customers in the past, and that's what this whole audit's about, were not clear who they were sharing them with, or how does that play into this whole situation?
I mean, at the end of the day, our customers are the ones who own their data and get to control all their sharing relationships. So I think that there's a lot of times where law enforcement agencies are working to collaborate with other law enforcement agencies. These are all legal entities who want to work together to stop crime. I don't think any of them are questioning each other's missions. And so I think, candidly, probably what occurred is people were just accepting these, or they might have had a setting that just said, I will accept anything from any law enforcement agency. And so what we want to make sure is that the administrators understand that they have the opportunity to deselect, to refine their sharing options at any moment.
Blog post is the mention of hiring a new chief legal officer and putting more investments into training. Can you kind of elaborate on what that looks like?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we have to do at Flock is just ensure that we are doing everything that we can above and beyond to help our customers stay in compliance with the law. Again, I don't believe that it is Flock's role to be the ones policing the police or questioning their missions. In fact, that is their job. This is why we have city managers. This is why we have city councils. It is actually the job of those democratically elected governing bodies to kind of set the standards and work with their police on those policies, not at private companies. That being said, we did hire a chief legal officer who's going to help ensure that we are better understanding all of the local laws and how we can help our customers stay in compliance with those laws. That's one. Two, how do we do a better job of training with our chiefs of police associations, with our chiefs who are customers down the line to every detective and every patrol officer so that they understand the nuances of all these different local laws. You know, these are 50 states with different laws. Each of these cities could have a different interpretation or new ordinances about these laws. I think compliance is a real challenge for individual law enforcement officers. And so if we have an opportunity at Flock to help with both training and policy, we want to help in those capacities.
What does that look like for these departments that are working with your tools on a day-to-day basis? Are they going to see any differences here?
More communication, I think, from Flock, more communication in collaboration with their state chiefs of police associations. I know with the Illinois Chiefs of Police Association, we are, I believe even just today, trying to lock down the date of the next round of training that we want to do with them about how to leverage, use, and ensure compliance with LPR technology in the state. So I think that you'll just see more of that, more communication and more opportunities for training.
Seen many news stories of success stories with Flock, and I think that it's undeniable that there is a lot of potential and met potential too with this technology. From the company's standpoint, do you think it's possible to continue, using this technology for good without meddling in that gray area when it comes to some of these current event issues that are more sensitive? And there is not like a certain black and white answer, but there are going to be states where there is some gray area on what constitutes as a crime that they're looking to investigate.
Yeah, Nikki, I think it's not going to be possible for me or anybody at Flock to be able to solve the country's partisan problems, nor are we going to be able to solve any sort of the political divide when it comes to these, topics. We're not going to try. Flock's an apolitical organization, so we're not going to take any sort of a political stand one way or another. That being said, I think what you said is exactly right. We need to protect the utility of the tools that everybody can agree on all types of crimes that we agree are heinous. Child kidnapping. Literally just yesterday, there was a success story about a kid that was kidnapped from Washington State and brought down to Georgia. And police were able to solve that crime because of Flock devices. And this child was in the car with a registered sex offender who had been kidnapped. So yes, we need to stop horrible crimes like that from occurring in our society. And the way we can do that is what the primary research shows, which is the certainty of punishment is more important than the severity of the punishment. We have to ensure that we can stop people, that people know that they will be caught if they're committing these crimes, that they're going to be stopped. And so yes, we need to protect the utility of the tools being used in the way that we all can get behind. And absolutely, we believe that we can mitigate the risk in all these states and work in compliance with local laws. Absolutely, we can, and we need to do that.
Subscribe for more coverage on the tools shaping government technology and public innovation. Check our full reporting at govtech.com.